We expect the final impact is more jobs and for young women and men in all the sectors we target, and young women and men have better access to labor market information and job opportunities.
Our purpose of the intervention in the long term will be not only to change the policy environment. Maybe we will find an easy way into an easy win for the policy environment, or we will select one or another issue, but the aim is here to assist representativeness in the sector, to understand how the sector represents itself, because the main systemic constraint is not that the sector is not improving policy, but is that actually the sector is not advocating proactively. And the purpose here will be to help build or to improve advocacy mechanisms that will be there after we leave as a project, and that the businesses can continue to use or to multiply long after we are going to advocate for the issues they are interested in.
Morning exercise. Follow me.
Please stand up.
All of you. That's haka dance from the New Zealand. Just follow me.
Hub 387, which is a great idea. It is pretty, how to say, unfamiliar for Balkans and generally what is applied within ICT sectors in Balkan states, but nevertheless it's quite innovative and quite cool idea which also excited our imagination and our interest from those who don't work in Bosnia. So what is all about? It's an open space which is initially provided by three entrepreneurs from diaspora, business, Bosnian Americans, one Bosnian American, helping in these details, but generally three entrepreneurs who invested in this open space, a facility which was then provided to a number of businesses from ICT sector. Now there are 8 businesses already, 80% of this space is already filled up, and it means 2,200 square meters are already, or 80% of this space is already filled up with businesses working there, with 30 additional freelancers also using the space to produce, to communicate, to design different products, services, and also identify possible skills that their companies, but also the ICT sector in general, is in demand. So this is quite a success story that also other projects may learn from.
Why did you apply for this job?
Well, I would love to work for your company. I've heard the best about it.
You've seen our colleagues are obviously male-dominated people. Actually, we only employ men. As a woman, how do you think you'll feel working in this kind of environment?
Like a queen bee.
Like queen bee. So do you expect that the colleagues might harass you or something like that?
They don't usually do that with queen bee.
Yeah, in our job, obviously we travel a lot. There's no choice, it's a requirement. So what about traveling abroad? Is that okay for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and with traveling with other men, your parents would have no problems with that? Or your partner?
I have a girl partner, so she...
A girl partner?
Lack of access to an economic environment is not just women businesses or women, but also just women getting access to a loan, or just women getting the necessary resources to starting a business. You see a lot of constraints there that are sometimes hidden. just from the proximity, starting from the proximity of the financial institutions, or lack of proximity to the areas where some women in the rural economies especially, or local economies, are focused, so they have to travel long ways just to get to the financial institution. The information is something that is hidden, but it's actually very, very important. A lot of information in these associations of businesses is transmitted only to men in some areas, because men are selectively called in representative meetings.
This is a bit the practical part. Gantt charts or similar tools to organize who's doing what and where there's possible practical synergies, but also an example from RISI where they've taken the sectors that they have and looked for cross-cutting or shared issues, not the typical ones that we normally talk about, but additional things that affect all. So in their case, it could be access to finance, skills, advocacy, etc. The other comment that came up about that, though, is that when you look at your sectors, it's great to pick them individually as ones that have potential, but you really also need to think about how do they all fit together? Are there synergies? And in that example, ICT, food, and tourism, you can actually see a lot of, they're almost interconnected markets for each other in a lot of ways. Okay?
For example, to add here, which I noticed last week spending time with the RISI team, was RISI said, we need to do something on human resource management in agro-processing companies. Kosovo says, we need to do something on human resource management in agro-businesses, So I says, why don't we come up with a human capital initiative? While in the meantime, RISI is working hard and thinking, how do they do things, and blah, blah, blah. So here is really a lot of potential to do something together. I mean, it could even, to an extreme, you could think of having the initiative going parallel and benefiting from joint workshops, joint trainings, joint consultancies. That would be real synergies. But at least learn from each other. How the other one did that.
Very interested.
This is not a presentation, it's a marketplace.
You can treat it as video. Find out.
So this is something for sale. Second one is for sale is the concept notes that we already made there. That's still going to be developed. I assume that you will be going through that very soon. And we have 1 year lessons about that, so we can share that with you so you don't suffer.
We can sell the concept note, the sample of the concept note, but also we can sell instructions how to do it.
How to do it, because we learn through doing it, and we don't want you to suffer.